Hi class. So I want to do a little tutorial about the time value of money and present value and relate that to how we are valuing bonds in this unit, okay? So let's imagine that you put some money in a savings account, okay? Let's say you put $1,000 in a savings account, and let's just say, even though we know we don't make this good of money right now, let's just say that you're going to earn 5%, okay, on that money. How much money would you have at the end of 1 year, okay? 1 year. How much money would you have at the end of 1 year? Let's don't do quarterly compounding or any of that kind of stuff. Just what if $1,000 earned 5% over the year? Well, we would have $1,050, okay? So you could say that $1,050 is the future value of having $1,000 today if I can earn 5%. Okay? $1,050 is the future value of having $1,000 today if I can earn 5%. Now, we're all comfortable with that because we've all been, since you were a kid, you knew that you could put your money in the bank and earn some interest. And so future value is pretty intuitive for us. Now I want you to flip that around and think about it a different way. I want you to think of $1,000 as the present value of having $1,050 a year from now if you could earn 5%. Let me say that again. $1,000 is the present value of getting $1,050 a year from now if 5% is your opportunity rate. So, if you were a rational economic person, and I know you've heard that term before in some of your other classes, you would be indifferent as to whether you got $1,000 today or $1,050 a year from now if the best you could do is 5%, because they mean the same. They are worth the same. $1,000 now at time 0 is worth the same as $1,050 a year from now if you can earn 5%. Okay? So that's how we value bonds. Okay? That's how we think about it. The way we value a bond is the sum of two things. The fact that you're going to get interest payments every perhaps 6 months over the life of the bond. And add to that the fact that you're going to get paid back for the bond at the end of the life of the bond. Paid back for the face value of the bond at the end. Now, so what we do is we find the present value of this continuous, repeated amount that we call an annuity. We find the present value of that, and then we add it to the one-time present value of, okay, so if your bond is $10,000 and it's a 5-year bond, in 5 years you're going to get $10,000 back. But what is the present value of that? $10,000 is what you're going to get at the end of 5 years. But what's the present value of that? It would, considering the fact that you can earn 5% a year. So that's the way we value bonds. Now, I want to use your tables. Go back up here to our first example, okay? If you'll look at those tables that I posted for you, I want to show you a really neat trick. You can do this if you have a financial analysis calculator too. Okay, so if you will look at your present value of a dollar table, I think it's table B1, if you will look at these factors, this thing crunched all the calculus for you. Because think about what this is, okay? If I divide this by 1.05 to the n power, I'm going to get 1,000 because it's 1 year. So 1,050 divided by 1.05 is 1,000. Okay, so that's the calculus that we do to find present value. And if I wanted to go out another year, let's see, 1,050, add 5% to 1,050, I think it works out to be about I haven't crunched these numbers. Let's see here. There's my little calculator. Where'd it go? $1,050 times 1.05 equals 1102.50. Okay, so we have 1102.50 at the end of the period. And if I divide this by 1.05 to the second, okay, 1.05 to the second, because it's 2 periods back, I'm going to get $1,000. Or I can use these nifty tables I gave you, which have crunched all the numbers for you, and they just give you a factor. So if I take 1,050 and multiply it by the factor for 5%, 1 period back, it's 0.9524. And that works out to be $1,000. Okay? If I take 1102.50 and multiply it by the 5% column 2 periods back, it's 0.9070. And that works out to be $1,000. So see, this helps us do our analysis. So that's what you're seeing me do in the video where I work the problem. Okay? Okay, so that's present value in a nutshell. It's the reverse way of thinking about future value. And we just need to realize that when we take, the reason we love present value is because it allows us to take a bunch of different variables that are all happening at different times in the future, and if we pull them all back to present value, we can compare them to each other. Let me give you an example. Let's say that you are trying to decide between 2 different bonds. Which one is really the best deal? One of them costs $10,000 and it's going to last for 5 years. The other one costs $10,000 and it's going to last for 8 years. They have different interest rates. They pay at different times of the year. You're just not sure what to do. What you do is you bring everything back to present value and you compare them to each other. Or let's say you had a choice of buying 2 different pieces of equipment for your factory. One of them is supposed to last 7 years and cost $200,000. The other one is only going to last 5 years, but it only costs $175,000. One of them has a certain amount of maintenance, the other one has a certain amount of maintenance. All these things are happening at different times. You're able to plot it all out and find the present values of all those future things that are going to happen, and then you can compare them apples to apples. Okay? That's what I love about present value. It's a very, very powerful tool for helping you make financial decisions in your own life and for your company. Okay, hope that helps.